It's funny watching this little Roblox character run around, jumping over obstacles, dodging things, just trying to get to the end of the level, and if you fall, you just respawn and do the exact same loop again. I've been thinking a lot lately about how much real life feels exactly like this game. We call it the rat race, right? But when you're actually in it, it doesn't feel like a race. A race implies there's a winner. It feels more like a treadmill. You're running your heart out, sweating, stressing, but you aren't actually going anywhere. For the longest time, I was running on that treadmill at full speed. I was the guy who was going to win the race that no one actually wins. And then, I just stopped running. Today, I want to talk about that stop. I want to tell you the story of how I went from being a bright college student with a mapped out future to someone whose grades completely tanked, and why, honestly, it was the best decision I ever made. This isn't a stay in school video, and it's definitely not a dropout video. It's just my story about realizing that the map I was given was leading me to a treasure I didn't even want. So yeah, grab a snack, get comfortable. Let's just talk for a bit while I try not get caught by these guards. Let's rewind a bit, back to the beginning of college. If you knew me back then, you wouldn't recognize the guy talking to you right now. I was that kid. You know the one, the bright student. The one where everyone says, oh, he's going places. I had the grades, I had the discipline, I was putting in the hours. And honestly, a part of me enjoyed the validation. It feels good to be told you're doing it right. It feels safe. The system gives you a clear path. Study hard, get the A, get the degree, get the job, buy the house, be happy. It's a very seductive promise. But for me, there was something else driving it. Something way deeper than just wanting a good GPA. It was a promise I made to my mom. See, my dad is late. He passed away. And when you lose a parent, especially when you're young, it changes the entire architecture of your world. It shifts the weight of everything onto the remaining parent. I watched my mom carry that weight, and I made a vow to myself and to her that I was going to make it up to her. I was going to build a life so stable, so successful, that she would never have to worry about anything ever again. I wanted to give her the world to pay her back for the world she gave me. That promise was the fuel. School was just the vehicle I was told would get me there. So, I drove that vehicle hard. I was redlining the engine every single semester. I was doing what I was supposed to do. And man, it's exhausting. It's exhausting pretending that you care about things you don't, just to get a grade that only matters until the next semester starts. But I kept telling myself, this is for the promise. This is for mom. Just keep running on the treadmill. So what changed? It wasn't one specific moment. It wasn't like in the movies where lightning strikes and suddenly everything is clear. It was a slow burn, a gradual realization about halfway through my schooling that something was fundamentally broken. I started looking ahead, not at the next semester, but 10, 20 years down the line. I started looking at the people who had successfully finished the path I was on, saw the people who won the rat race. And you know what terrified me? I didn't want their lives. I saw people who were successful on paper, but they were miserable in reality. They were trading 40, 50, 60 hours of their week, the prime energy of their lives, just to survive the weekend. They were chained to desks, paying off debts incurred to get the jobs they hated. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized, if I keep going down this road, I might fulfill the financial part of my promise to my mom. I might be able to buy her things, but I won't be able to give her me. I won't be happy. I'll be a shell of myself, burnt out and resentful. And I know my mom. She wouldn't want a rich, miserable son. She wants a son who is alive, who is actually living. The system I was excelling in was designed to create good employees, It wasn't designed to create free human beings. It wasn't designed to provide the kind of life I actually wanted to live. I felt like I had spent years building a ladder, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. And that realization, it's paralyzing. It's like when you're in this game and you realize you've been going the wrong way for the last 10 minutes. You don't just keep going the wrong way because you already put the time in. You have to turn around. So I turned around, and this is the messy part. This is the part that people judge. When I realized the degree wasn't the golden ticket I thought it was, something in me just turned off. It wasn't laziness. It was a total lack of belief in the system. It's impossible to put 100% effort into something you know in your soul is the wrong path for you. So I stopped. I stopped killing myself for an A. I stopped pulling all-nighters for information I knew I'd forget in a week. I did the bare minimum to just exist in that space while I figured things out. And yeah, the predictable happened. My grades dropped. Drastically. I went from being the bright student to the guy professors were looking at like, "What happened to you?" And honestly, that hurt. It hurt my ego. It's hard to let go of that identity of being the smart one. It was scary. There were times I felt like a complete failure. I felt like I was betraying that promise I made. There was a lot of guilt. Am I just being ungrateful? Am I throwing away an opportunity that others would kill for? But deep down, underneath the guilt and the fear, there was this tiny sliver of relief. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't performing for someone else. I was listening to my own gut. I was stepping off the treadmill. People look at that period of my life, the dropping grades, the wasted potential, and they see failure. But looking back, I have zero regrets. None. Because that crash, it was necessary. I had to break down the structure I was building to make room for something else. You can't build a skyscraper on the foundation of a shack. If I hadn't let my grades drop, if I had kept pushing through just to please everyone else, I would currently be trapped in a life I despise. I would be safer, maybe, but I wouldn't be free. And that brings us to right now. I'm still in the messy middle. I don't have it all figured out. When I say in the intro that I'm trying to get my shirti together, I mean that literally. It's a daily process. But the difference is, now I'm building something I believe in. I'm taking this YouTube journey seriously now. And I know everyone and their grandma wants to be a YouTuber. It sounds cliche, it sounds risky. And yeah, it is risky. It's terrifying playing a game where there's no guaranteed salary at the end of the month. But this creating things, connecting with you guys, sharing my story, trying to build an independent income stream, this feels real. This feels like a path where if I succeed, I don't just get money. I get time. I get freedom. And that is the life I wanted to give my mom. Not just money, but a son who is free enough to spend time with her. A son who built something of his own, on his own terms. Every video I make, every hour I put into editing, it feels like laying a brick for a foundation that is actually solid. It's harder work than school ever was, because there's no syllabus. I have to figure it out myself. But for the first time, I'm excited about the future. I'm not dreading it. We're coming up on 20 minutes here, and I guess if I wanted to wrap this up into one central thought, it's this. It is okay to change your mind. It is okay to realize halfway through a journey that you're on the wrong path. We put so much pressure on ourselves, especially young guys, to have it all mapped out by the time we're 20. We make promises based on what we think the world is, before we've actually experienced it. If you are currently on a treadmill, running your heart out toward a prize you don't even want, just know that you have permission to press the stop button. It's going to be scary. People might doubt you. Your grades might drop in whatever game you're playing. But you only get one shot at this life. Don't spend it living someone else's script. I'm going to keep building this channel brick by brick. I hope one day it pays off. I hope one day I can monetize this and fulfill that promise I made, but do it my way. Until then, I'm just going to keep practicing these jumps. If you made it this far, thanks for listening to me ramble. It means more than you know. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.